Hey, what up guys, it's Jason again, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a follow-up tutorial from the After Effects sync tutorial. And what we're doing here is we're going to be syncing with a Twixtor clip, and right now what you guys see is a bunch of layers, and it's actually all just one clip. So it's just regular, one layer of Twixtor, regular, one layer of Twixtor, etc. And the reason being for that is that here, let me show you over here. It's an example I've shown for you. When you have Twixtor and then you set it to 100% and leave the layer as one layer, you still get this warping even after you set it back to 100% because Twixtor is still in the clip. And it affects the clip a lot. You can see all these black warps, and when you scope in you can see all this like deformed warping, and it just doesn't look good, very good at all. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna show you an example of how to fix this. So you go to the frame in which it first goes to 100%, see the little keyframe. We're gonna split the layer, Command-Shift-D or Control-Shift-D on a PC, and we're gonna actually go to the effects and turn off Twixtor. Now what that does is it acts as if Twixtor was never there and that the clip had played for normal speed until this point, but that wasn't the case. We have another layer with Twixtor, so we have to put it back to the frame right after where the Twixtor ends, and to do that we have to go to time, enable time remapping, and so we're just gonna have to scroll back in time until we get to the clip after the Twixtor ends. In this case it's in the scope in. Let me zoom in right before the shot. Oh, nope, we're not close yet. Go back to the time remap layer. Yeah, it's after the shot, so it's about right here, let's say, and then we go back onto the Twixtor clip. So it's right after the Twixtor, so it looks smooth when you play it back, and no one even knows that you have two separate layers there. So I just did that for a bunch of times, every time I did a Twixtor, and it creates a lot of layers and it takes a lot of time, but if you want your edit to look really good, that's what you got to do. So to sync with this, you can't sync with like 20 layers. You have to take them all, go to layer, and then go to pre-compose, and that's going to make it into one layer. I'm going to call it Twixtor clip just for practicality, and it makes it one layer. Now also when you pre-compose a clip, you're going to get a long layer that goes all the way across the composition, and it'll cut off into black where the original layer cut off, and you just got to find that, and you're going to go option end bracket, and that'll cut the layer without actually splitting it into two. It's much quicker. And now we can just treat it like a normal sync. So I already have the audio and the markers put in place, and if you don't know how to do that, just look up the original After Effects sync tutorial that I did. And if you guys are a little bit confused on this tutorial, and if I'm going too fast, I suggest that you go check out the original After Effects shot syncing tutorial that I did. A link will be in the description, and an annotation will be in the top right. So now that we're all ready to sync, we just need to go to layer, time, enable time remapping, and put a keyframe on each shot. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, so we're almost there. Last shot. Alright, so we've got our 4 keyframes. And if you notice right now, if you've watched the first tutorial, I haven't made keyframes before and after the scope, and there's a reason for that. It's a little bit easier when you're working with Twixtor to just leave them as is right now. So we're gonna take all of the keyframes just like normal syncing, including the last one, and move the first one on to the marker. Do it again, leaving out the first, then leaving out the second, then leaving out the third, and we've got our four synced shots. Now we might as well import our M40 audio and put it in place, just because we know where exactly the M40 shot's going to be. We know it's going to be on the marker, so why not just put it there already? It doesn't really matter. Whoa, what just happened? Doesn't really matter when we put in the audio, but I'm just going to do it now. And the last shot. Alright, so now that we've got our shots in place, we can make it look nicer. So right now it's actually synced. If we play it, which I will, if we play it right now, bring down the audio, so
but as I'm turning to me, I learned to be wrong. Comfortable long and he never returned me. Thought I took anger for when it turned.
So it doesn't look very good, and by the way, I forgot to turn off the audio on our clip. Always remember to turn off the audio on your clip. So it's alright right now, but the weird thing is that everything is really sped up except for the Twixtor. So this is going really fast and this is going really slow. And to even it out, we're going to add some more keyframes for the time remap, and for each shot it's going to be before the Twixtor on the scope in, before the Twixtor on the bolt action, and after the Twixtor on the bolt action. So we're going to have clumps of 4 keyframes instead of 3. So we're just going to keep doing this till we're done. And this is probably the most time-consuming part of the tutorial. Actually, just manually putting the keyframes in place. But that's editing, and it ends up looking really good. Alright, we're almost done. Alright, so now that we have all of our keyframes, we can move any of the keyframes except for the ones that are lined up with the markers. So let's do that. So here's this little area where he's running up. Here's the big area where he's scoping in. So see how much more time there is for him to scope in than there is for him to run up. So let's even that out and move it towards the shot, giving this a lot more time and this a lot less. They're still about equal, but it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. So also what I like to do is after the shot, right after the shot, I like to slow down just a little bit the time from the scope to the bolt, and then again from the end of the bolt, or the end of the Twixtor, to him running. Let's give that more time, and then give the scope in a lot less, or yeah, a lot less, and then give the scope out more time, give the Twixtor less. Give the scope in less. So this is just making it look better. This is not mandatory. This will not change your sync. It'll just make the rest of the video look a lot better. And I suggest doing this every time you sync, and this is how you get good edits that'll win contests or get a lot of likes. And I'm sorry this might make it a long tutorial, but it's really important that you guys understand how to make it look good and not just know how to do it. Because a lot of editors, they will just look at a tutorial and they'll be like, great, I can do this effect, everyone will like it. No, you actually have to understand it, and you actually have to know how to use it so that people like it. So now that we have the quad feed, let's press T for opacity just for fun and fade it out. Alright, so now let's see how it looks compared to what it did before. Hopefully this turned out a lot better and you guys can learn to do this tutorial and just sync shots with Twixtor. It's not necessary to sync shots with Twixtor, but it just looks so much better. So I actually noticed that from the scope to the when he scopes out after this first shot, it's really fast. So I'm gonna move that. So it's always a guess and check. Boom. So now let's see how this looks. Okay, that looked really good in my opinion. If you guys thought it looked a little bit strange or you have any questions about the tutorial or anything at all, just leave it in the comments, PM me, do whatever. I'm going to be there to answer your questions. Thanks for watching the tutorial, guys. I hope it helped, and I'll see you guys all later.